Landon Ray, founder of Ontraport. Man, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. We're recording this on Monday, June 5th. 4 hours, 15 minutes from now, you're going live to the whole world.
It's true. It's a big day.
Ontraport 5, which is releasing the very next day, tomorrow, June 6th. So, man, thanks for taking time to let us get a little sneak peek under the hood, what you've been working on. So, you live in Santa Barbara, so for you to put out this kind of effort, this has to be a labor of love, right? Because I would probably just be in a hammock if I lived there and just a beach bum.
Yeah, well, it is labor of love, man. We've been working on this for a long time. It is an exciting day for us because, for me, I've been working on this project for probably about 2 years now. So this is a pretty big day.
So I've gotten a little bit of a sneak peek, and I'm excited at what I'm seeing. So we'll do this interview a little bit different. You've got the actual slides you're going to be showing the public here later today. So, we can go through those quickly, give people kind of an overview of what you're doing, and then you actually have a live version you can show as well, right?
Yep. We'll dive in and just show you what we got going.
Okay. Cool. Let's hit it.
All right, cool. Well, so this is we put these slides together because the announcement kind of webinar that we're doing, this live stream we're doing this afternoon, is going to have a lot of people on it who don't know who Ontraport is. It's going to have a bunch of our customers. Most of our customers should be there, or a lot of them anyway. But there'll also be a lot of people that are not familiar with Ontraport. So we kind of put this little background together for people who don't know what Ontraport is. And so what Ontraport is, in case you fall into that category, is that it's an integrated business and marketing automation platform designed for entrepreneurs who know that business building is system building. So it's an all-in-one kind of marketing and business automation suite. And what it includes, wrong button, is a CRM system. So it's the place where you store all the data that you have about your business. I mean, first of all, let me just say Ontraport is a company, and this is the product we provide. We've been around since 2006, and I'll talk more about that in a second. But what the app does is stores all the data that you have about your customers and prospects in completely customizable contact records, much like a Salesforce.com or something like that. But it's also marketing automation, a very powerful marketing automation suite that we've had for years since we launched in 2008. Integrates text messages, email, direct mail, tasks, everything you could want in terms of creating really robust follow-up campaigns, payment processing, so you can put up your order forms and charge it through Stripe or any other gateway that you might have. Landing pages. We have this tool called Ontrapages, which is like a competitor to Lead Pages or something like that, where you build your landing pages. Membership sites on WordPress. It manages your affiliate program and more. And the idea of putting kind of these core tools into one system is that you want to be able to build and automate systems that manage the experience that your customers have all throughout the customer lifecycle. So our customers are building marketing systems, they're building lead management systems to follow up with leads, they're building sales systems like Salesforce automation, in a demo process or whatever. They're building fulfillment systems, they're building referral systems, and they're automating all of that. And in order to do that, you kind of need to have all of your data in one place so that you can know who you're talking to and be relevant. And so there's a lot of people using Ontraport, thousands of customers all over the world. People probably have a lot of different reasons why they use our platform. But if you ask me, which might be worth doing, I did design the platform. There's really two big reasons why you would choose Ontraport over your other options out there. And your other options are some other options are like a direct competitor, which is like maybe an Infusionsoft or something like that also offers a robust kind of all-in-one platform. And the other option is kind of like the kludge together of 6 or 8 different tools. And the reason that you want to choose a platform like Ontraport is 2 things, in my opinion, apart from all the details. But the first one is that fundamentally, you don't know what's going to work in your business. You don't know what marketing is going to work. You don't know what ad is going to work. You don't know what sales follow-up process is going to work. And if you think you do, you're simply wrong. I mean, the reality is that, you know, we are an experienced, you know, marketing. We have an experienced marketing team. We also work with some of the top marketers in the world. And I can tell you that our marketers, when they put out a new ad or a new, you know, sales letter or whatever it might be, they're wrong like 9.5 out of 10 times. And if you think that that makes us like dumb, again, you're just mistaken. Like, you can talk to the very top marketers in the industry, and if they're being honest, they'll tell you the same thing. They'll tell you that it's not about knowing what's going to work. It's about trying stuff quickly. It's about being able to move quickly, try something, and see whether it's working, and iterate. And that's the reality for all the way to the top, right? You know, the biggest marketers that you know, I'm not going to name names because what I'm, you know, basically saying here is that I'm exposing the fact that they don't know what they're doing either. But that's the reality. If you talk to, you know, we have customers that's one of the top names in webinar marketing. And, you know, the way he promotes his situation is, man, webinars are a thing. You put up a webinar and money just shoots out the internet. But the reality is, when you talk to him privately, he'll tell you that he diligently works to optimize a webinar for 6 to 9 months before it actually starts producing profit for him. Yeah. That's the reality of the situation. So if you're going to play the game, you got to realize that you don't know what's going to work. You got to try a lot of stuff and learn quickly. And to be able to do that, you need to be able to move fast, right? Implement ideas quickly and be able to see what's going to work. And you can't do that if you have tools and data all over the place. It's slow and you can't get the numbers. It's just the bottom line. You literally need to build your business in a way that sort of instruments you for playing the game. And this is the tools you need to do that. The second thing, so Ontraport users implement more ideas faster and see more clearly what's going to work. The other thing is that today, your prospects are overwhelmed with marketing messages, right? They're expert ignorers. They do not care about what they do not care about. And they literally will not see your advertisements. They will not see your messaging. The only way to cut through the noise is to be in the right place at the right time with the right message in the right media, right? And the only way to do that is to know what your customers are interested in. And there's only 2 ways to know what your customers are interested in, right? It's by either hearing what they tell you, and they can tell you with a form, or they can tell you on the phone, or they can tell you by clicking an ad, through their behavior, right? So it's 2 things: either they tell you outright, or they tell you through their behavior. And so what you need is to combine all that data so that you can deliver relevant experiences, whether that's the right retargeting ad at the right time, or whether it's the right email message at the right time, or it's the right phone call at the right time. That's what you need to be able to do. And again, you can't do it if your data is all over the place. So that's what makes Ontraport unique. That's why people use our system, because our Ontraport users are more effective marketers because they can be relevant. That's the bottom line. So quick history, we started this in 2006 after we kind of built this stuff as internal tools for another business that I had started. 2007, 2009, we launched, iterated a couple of times, and finally got some real traction in 2009. The system has always kind of been the most powerful platform in our industry. And we did this pretty differently than your typical kind of internet startup that starts with like a feature to see if they can get any traction and then adds on. We started kind of with all the features. And we did that because that's what we had. Like I said, we built this as a set of internal tools, and so those are the features we needed. And when we launched it, we had, you know, all the stuff. So our challenge hasn't been so much, you know, the power, it's been the simplicity, right? And so what we've had over the years is a lot of power users, which is awesome. But our mission is to remove the burden of technology so that entrepreneurs can deliver their value to the world. And we want to remove that burden, not just for people who are real tech savvy, but for everybody. So in 2010, 2014, we were scaling really fast. We needed to kind of rebuild the technical foundation of the system. It took us forever because we were doing it nights and weekends. But we launched the new platform in 2014. That's turned out great. 2015 and 16, we rebuilt the front end, made it mobile responsive, our landing pages and our emails, built a whole new interface, which we launched earlier this year. And finally, it became time to figure out how to tackle this simplicity part, right? We had all the pieces together. Now it's just a matter of making it simple. And the question was, so it's campaigns. So this is what we're launching today, right? Campaigns is what's going to make it simple. And the question that we asked ourselves, though, is what does it mean to be simple? What are we trying to make simple? And that question had two answers. The first was that we wanted to make it simple to get up and running, right? Faster and easier to build and launch campaigns. But we also wanted to make it simple and easy to understand what's happening in your account. Because what most marketers miss is a big picture of how their businesses work. And the reality is that even Ontraport users have had a hard time seeing that in the past. What we have is a bunch of individual separate processes, and kind of tying them together and seeing it all from a 30,000-foot view has been really challenging, both in Ontraport and outside of Ontraport. There really hasn't been a great tool for that. So existing campaign builders do a pretty good job of making it faster and easier to build campaigns, but we wanted to kind of go further. So we wanted to give users insight into how their business is working, where their biggest opportunities lie. So here's what we did. We looked around at pretty much every campaign builder out there, and what we noticed is that it's all about messaging, right? Most of the tools out there are basically allowing you to create a little funnel that says send an email, wait a day, send another email, put a condition in there, send this email or that email. And it's all about messaging, which is important, right? It's all about the emails and SMS messages, stuff like that. Very important, but it's kind of half the picture, right? We've got this other important part of your business, which is what happens on your website, right? The funnel process. Somebody comes and visits a page. Are they clicking through? Are they moving through the process that you created on your site to actually, move people through a lead capture or maybe a product launch or a purchase process? And so all of the campaign builders out there today missed the stuff that happens on your website. So we kept looking. We noticed that other systems noticed that same problem, and they kind of created funnel systems, right? You got a ClickFunnels or whatever that made a system where you can see page, and you can see the conversion through your online funnel process. But then those systems miss the original half of the picture, right? They don't show you anything that's happening inside of your messaging and your emails. So basically all the solutions that are available only showed half the picture. And we realized there was an opportunity to kind of marry those things together and show you the whole picture on a single map. So that became one of our new goals. Turns out it wasn't so easy. One of the problems was that getting on-site and off-site stuff on the same map was just a challenge. But the other problem is that when you try and do that, it's real easy to have the system get real messy. And here's what I mean. Some systems that are out there force simplicity on you, right? So if you look at, for example, this system here, this is cool. This is like a simple email campaign builder. But what you notice if you look at this one and this guy, which I think is ActiveCampaign, what these systems do is they force simplicity on you. On one hand, it's kind of cool. They organize the map for you, and it kind of visually makes more sense than some of the systems out there. The problem, though, is that you can have multiple triggers, multiple reasons people get on this process, but then they're all forced. You can see how they're all forced onto the same next step. And if you think about that for a few minutes, what you realize is that means that every one of your automations in these simple systems represents one process. And it can be a little bit of a complex process, but it can't give you a big picture of how your business works. Because the reality is that our businesses are composed of a bunch of different processes, right? There's a lead management process. There's a lead nurture process. There's a sales process. Over here, there might be a referral generation process or a fulfillment process. There might be a customer service process. There might be in Ontraport, people are making recruiting processes for internal internal people, right? All kinds of processes that your business is composed of. And ultimately, these simpler systems like Ontraport before today have forced you into creating a whole bunch of individual automations that represent one process in your business. And then your whole business ends up being a whole kludge of individual automations, meaning you can't ever get that kind of big picture view of how your whole business works together. Now, other systems let you get more complex and give you that big picture view. This is Infusionsoft, and you kind of can have multiple processes on one map. But my gosh, the problem here is that this gets so complex and messy that we don't really think that this solved the fundamental problem, which is, does this actually make any sense? Does this thing increase understanding or does it not? We kind of felt like not. So we wanted to kind of take the best of those simple solutions, but kind of bring the power that Ontraport has always represented to the program here. So automatic campaign organization, top down, right? So it's not drag and drop. We're going to manage the layout for you so it doesn't get all crazy. That was important. But allow multiple disconnected triggers on the map so that you can actually represent your whole business from a top-down view, which is a unique capabilities, especially when we show you some of the tracking and campaign reporting that's possible with this system. So we got on-site and off-site elements on a single page, messaging and page conversion. We allow for campaign nesting to keep things tidy. And we're going to take campaign reporting to a whole new level, which I'll show you in just a second. So, and we're going to throw in a few other goodies while we're at it just for fun. So let's jump into the system. Does that kind of give you an overview of what we're trying to do here? Oops, let's go back here. And jump into the system. Is that a good kind of like background? Uh-oh, I can't hear you.
Hey, all right, I was muted. I'm sitting here typing. So there was a key point on your very first slide about recognizing that business building is really system building.
Yeah.
And that's the point I always beat in to the heads of my prospects and clients because they are sold a bill of goods. I think with a lot of people out there, just do a podcast, just do a webinar, just have a YouTube channel, and you'll just make money, right? Just take PayPal payments and you'll just get rich. And it's like, it's not that way, man. Look at McDonald's. They have a true system. But I always tell people, go watch how it's made, on like Discovery or whatever, National Geographic. I mean, just to build a paperclip, right, is such a process. We won't even talk about mining the iron ore, right? But they'll get some big block of steel or whatever, and then it's melted and it's compressed and then it's drawn out, and then a machine cuts it every time, and then and it gets wrapped around a certain radius thing. I mean, it's just to make a paperclip. Mind-boggling. Something that we just throw away, right? You don't even think twice about a paperclip or toothpicks, same thing. But it's process, and then entrepreneurs, they don't think that applies to them, right? Just, I'm a good computer programmer, so I'll just let everybody know, and they'll just all come and throw business at me. It's like, no, they won't. Yeah, they won't, right? You got to think processes, and you're right. So many are so hard. So just thinking about having a system hurts most entrepreneurs' heads. And then if they have to log into something else and execute it, that hurts their head. And then when they find out, this one doesn't do landing pages, or, this one isn't a CRM. This one doesn't have e-commerce. This one doesn't have affiliate marketing. Right? I can't do an SMS. I can't send a text message and remind people of my webinar. That's another software I got to buy and then integrate that through an API call. So no wonder they struggle, right? There's just so many gotchas. So, it's cool, but you're right. Those that do try to put everything into one usually gets too hard. And it's you got to be like, I feel like I got to open a DOS prompt, and start coding. And it's just debilitating. So I'm excited about the direction you're taking this, and it's got to be visual. It's got to be comprehensive, but it's still got to be easy as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're headed in the right direction here. So just keep yourself unmuted because I want to be able to hear your comments as we go through this thing, Wes.
Hey, just along, we got a new puppy. Puppy's barking, baby's chasing, but my listeners are kind of used to that.
They understand. It's real life, man. It's real life. I just drove my daughter to school and after making the family egg, so it's real life. Okay, so can you see my screen still over here?
I do. I see the campaigns. Yep.
So this is Ontraport. There's it's a very robust platform. If you're not a user, I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but this is kind of an empty account here. But this is completely customizable contact records, complete history of everything that's ever happened to your contacts. It's too much to get into right this second. Let's just talk today about the new campaign builder, which is pretty awesome. So we're going to go over to campaigns. And this is a bunch of different campaigns that I've already kind of built in here. And maybe we should look at something simple like, let's see. How about something real easy like a cart abandoned process, right?
Sure.
Might as well always remind people that come to your site that if they don't check out, that it would be worthwhile to send them an email and remind them that they might have wanted to do that before they got distracted by the kids or the dog or the baby or whatever it might be,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So here's the new campaign builder. And basically how this thing works is you can have, like I said, multiple triggers across the top. Triggers are how contacts get added to the campaign. And you can configure these any way you want. Basically you can add them when a contact is created or when any field is updated or on a specific date, or it's super configurable when they click an email link, when they purchase a product, when they visit a page, anything like that, they can be added to this campaign. And as soon as they get added, then they're going to move down the process here, and the system just asks you. It makes it pretty simple. It says what happens next,
right?
And so when you click that, it allows you to select what happens next. And there's all these different elements that you can add. We put this kind of like popular elements here at the beginning. You can send an email. You can wait a little bit of time. You can throw a condition on there. You can update the contact record, like change a field or something, add a tag. You can add them to another campaign if you want to do that. Or you can just end this campaign right here, right? But there's also a lot more. You can send text messages. You can send them to a fulfillment list. You can, all kinds of different, send them to a lead router. And there's more sophisticated filters on here. You can run a split test. You can do all kinds of stuff, even some advanced stuff. This is some of these are disabled because you got to set them up before you see all the advanced things here. But you can send a webhook to ping a URL like Zapier or something like that. You can also send their information over to Facebook and run a retargeting campaign, or something like that to this contact. But anyway, let's just start simple and just send an email. And basically what you do is you just select an email here. And there's, all kinds of different emails. You can create a new one here if you want, but hey, maybe you send an email. Actually, I've already put this thing together, so let's just delete this sucker. You can delete this and everything below it. And what this one actually does is you basically just pick your landing page on your own website. Ontraport has a script that you can put on your site so we can track the visitors on your own site. Or, of course, you can use Ontraport landing pages to host your order form. So either one works, and they get added to this page. And then you just want to wait a minute, right? And then you have a goal down here. The goal says product is purchased, right? So what's going to happen here is if they visit your page, they're going to get added, and then they're going to sit here and wait for an hour. And if they purchase your product, they're going to get moved down to this goal and then just end. Nothing happens, right? Or you can, of course, add a fulfillment process here if you want to. You can add stuff in the middle just by clicking this little button right there. But if after an hour the goal is not reached, you can see here it says continue here if goal is not achieved within the time frame, right? So what it's going to do is those contacts are going to zip down this path instead, and we're going to send them an email. And what does the email says? It says, well, let's see what this preview says. Oops, did we lose you? We noticed you didn't check out. To complete your order, click here now.
Cool.
Make sense?
Yeah.
And then we can just follow up. Wait another day. Send another email. Hey, look what you're missing out on. Wait another day. Maybe we send an SMS message. You could swap this out if you want to send a task to your salesperson or to yourself, for example. You can just find the task in here. Where is that sucker? Where's my task?
Was it in the?
I don't even know where my task.
Popular. Update.
I think tasks. Actually, I think we need to.
Better add that sucker back in.
We need to enable that in this account. This thing's kind of smart, and if you don't have access to tasks, then it doesn't show you the option. But I got to get that back in here. I'll do that later. There's this in this system. I'm not going to do it right now, but there's a ton of administration options that allow you to create permissions for different users, and I probably just remove the permission for tasks for this user. This is kind of my play around account here. Anyway, you can add all kinds of stuff here, and that's basically it, right?
So back up there where you have the purchase.
Yeah.
Right. So how does that purchase vertical, if you will, how does it stop? So on the left-hand side, you have a reminder sequence, right? Wait a day, send an email. Wait a day, send a text. Wait a day, send another email. How does the purchase stop that nudge sequence from continuing to fire?
Right. That setting is right here. So it says here, you can see who can achieve this goal. And there's one of the options here is contact anywhere on this map.
Okay.
You can also set it to anybody in your account. So you can have people added to this campaign right at this spot if they achieve this goal, right? Which might be cool. But in this case, we just want to add anybody on this map. So it doesn't matter where they are on the map, they can achieve this goal. And then it asks another question. If the contact is already on this map, then what are we going to do? Well, in this case, we're going to move the contact here and remove them from wherever else they were on the map, right? So we're just going to move them over. So if the person, say they got this email, they waited a day, then they got this email, then they're sitting here waiting the second day, and then they bought that product, that contact is going to get moved over here. Boop, and they're going to get moved to this goal, and they're going to down there to this end, and they're going to be at that end spot. And that's important because I'm going to show you what happens here in a minute in performance mode. We got a lot of really interesting reporting that happens about how this campaign works and the effectiveness of your campaign that really kind of takes this all to the next level.
Cool.
So maybe just one more example. What might we look at here? Oh, you know what I'll show you since we're here. Oh, here's list planning and re-engagement, which is pretty cool. Probably that it's good practice to maybe either stop sending emails to people who aren't engaged with them, or at least send fewer emails to people who are not engaged with your emails, just to make sure that your deliverability stays real high. If you send a bunch of emails, to people who haven't opened or clicked your emails in years, then you're eventually, Google and Yahoo and Microsoft start to notice that people don't care about your emails, and they end up throwing your stuff in the promotions folder or even in spam. Right. So it's a good idea to make sure that your list is really well engaged, and one of the ways to do that is to just kind of stop sending emails to people who don't care, right? And it turns out to the increase that you get in deliverability oftentimes outweighs the fact that you're shrinking your list a little bit, right, by removing people who aren't engaged, right? So in Ontraport, you've always been able to do these list cleaning and re-engagement campaigns, but to be quite honest, it's taken a little bit of setup. You had to kind of set up a sequence and set up a rule or two and set up a field and on and on a little bit. And now it's literally as easy as clicking this campaign and launching it. The cool thing I'll show you in a minute is that these campaigns are pre-built in there in this marketplace of campaigns. You can literally click this. It comes just like this with everything you need. And you literally just hook up your emails or edit them and click publish and you're done.
That's
How
awesome.
this works is real simple. Basically, everybody add contact here when the record is first created. Or you can add your entire list to this campaign manually, subscribe them, and they're going to all end up right here on this wait. Right? So basically, everybody gets put on this campaign, and then they just sit there and wait around. And in this case, we've got them waiting for 90 days. And they're just going to sit there and wait for 90 days. And the goal underneath here is it says last activity is updated. So in Ontraport, we have this field that's a system field, right? It's built for you. Every account has it, and it's called last activity. And basically, it updates every time we track activity that's made by the user. So if they visit a page or they click an email, that thing gets updated to today, right? It's the last user's activity. And so that's the goal of this campaign is if that field gets updated, then the goal is achieved. And what's going to happen is they're going to get moved off of this wait, moved down to this goal right here. And then what happens? We've got this go-to element that's just going to plop them right back up here to the 90 days. And they're going to start over and wait again, right? And so as long as their activity is within the last 90 days, they're going to just stay in this loop, right? If they stay engaged, and nothing's ever going to happen to them. But if after 90 days, this goal isn't achieved, then they're going to move down this path, right? And down this path, you'll say something like, hey, we noticed you haven't come around in 90 days. Now, of course, you could change this. If you think 90 days is too aggressive, you could change that real easy to 120 days or whatever you might want it to be, right? But at some point, you're going to want to say, hey, you haven't come around in a while. Are you still interested? And if so, click this email to let me know. Sometimes people even will say, here's a free guide or some kind of piece of content or a new video I made that you might be interested in. Click here to check that out, and that will reset this last activity field. They'll achieve the goal just like that other one, and they'll flip back up to the top and start the process over.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
then,
can you make that activity almost anything? Like if they just visit your website but maybe don't re-opt in, is that good enough?
Oh yeah, that already is a part of last activity. If they visit your website and a visit is tracked, last activity is automatically updated. How
accurate are opens? Because I noticed one of the triggers is an open, and I know that some say it's pretty accurate, but it's not 100%. I mean, I guess it's good enough.
I put it a little lower actually than pretty accurate. To be honest, the way opens is done, this isn't just Ontraport specific. This is any email system, all email systems. The way that we track opens is that we have a little image. It's an invisible little image usually. Sometimes we use our logos or whatever, but we have an image in the email that is unique to that email, and it's got like image for .com at ontraport.com / blah 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 blah, some long code, and that code, that image sits on our server, and so when the image is called by the client, by Gmail or whatever, like, hey, we need to show this email, Ontraport, what was this image? And we send that image over, we go like, okay, they opened it because that image got called.
Yep.
And that's how the technology works. It's actually really simple. It's worked the same way for a decade and a half, and there's kind of no other way to do it.
Right.
The problem is twofold. On one hand, a lot of users don't look at images when they look at email. And so the email gets opened, but the image doesn't get called. So there's an open and we didn't track it. On the other hand, Gmail now does this thing where they call images even before you open the email because they want to make the experience really fast. So when you open it, the image is already there. And so now you're recording an open when an open didn't even happen. And so basically, it's not that great. What we use opens for is general kind of performance tracking. You can kind of say that in general, if your open rate is going up, that's probably a good sign. And if your open rate is going down, it's probably a bad sign. But overall, it doesn't have much to do with how many people actually open the email or not.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah. So tracked links, on the other hand, a click in an email is 100% trackable. That's always going to work. So So definitely, if you're trying to make sure to provide an experience based on interaction with an email, you always want to use clicks instead of opens.
Right.
So yeah, back to this thing. We're just sending a campaign saying, hey, get engaged again, or I'm going to take you off my list. Right. And then the last step in this campaign, if they don't ever do it, is to update their bulk email status to opt out. Now, you might not want to go that hard. You might want to say, let's put them on a different campaign that I don't send them my weekly newsletter. Instead, I send them, only my product launch announcements or my quarterly updates or something like that. You can do whatever you want with those people, but that's kind of how this campaign works.
Sure.
One thing I will show you real quick is that when you launch a new campaign here, in Ontraport, you can start from scratch and start with a blank campaign, but we've also got all these different campaigns for you, and there's a whole bunch more that we're going to have before we launch, and a whole bunch more that we're going to have after we launch.
Right.
Demo consultation, self-scheduling, and follow-up. This is kind of like how Ontraport uses Ontraport with Calendly to self-schedule demos. It's a pretty sophisticated I can show it to you. Here's the interesting thing, though, is that when you launch this campaign, it's not just going to come with the map itself, but it actually comes with all the content that is referenced on the map. So this thing comes with 3 different landing pages, an email message, and 4 custom fields that we use to manage this demo request and follow-up process. It's all going to get implemented into your account automatically, and then all you got to do is go in and tweak the landing pages a little bit if you want to, tweak the emails a little bit, and click publish, and it's done. You don't have to think about all the kind of like details of how to manage this thing. It's really very powerful. Yeah. Demo request follow-ups, some examples, progressive profiling, a one-click email survey that just says, hey, how are we doing? This is actually kind of a neat one. I won't add it to my account again because it's already on here, but I'll show you. One-click upsell. Here's the one-click email survey. This is pretty neat. So we basically add people to the campaign manually. Okay, actually, this was performance mode here. Uh-oh. What have I done?
So you can add them manually, or any other activity just about you could have somebody enter into a campaign, right?
Yeah. So notice here that I've been taken into performance mode. I'll get back into that in a second. Here's how this campaign looks. Now you can see this is a more sophisticated campaign. You can zoom out here. I wanted to show you one other thing before we move on. These campaigns come with this checklist that shows you exactly what you need to do to complete this campaign. So right. It's pretty cool. I'll show you a better one too, but you can kind of, and as you add elements, it shows you, for example, if I added an email here, you can see that just got added to my list. You got to update the settings here. It won't let you publish until you've kind of completed that sucker. So pretty cool. You can also add your own items, custom to do here. And you can add that. So hey, I gotta remind my team to finish this thing up or whatever it might be. You can also print these maps out, share them, all kinds of stuff. But anyway, the way this thing works is you add people to this campaign if you want to survey them and ask how they're doing. So it sends this email. Hey, how's it going? Share your thoughts with a click. And it just has these 3 big buttons. Fantastic, I'm happy, I'm not so good. Yeah. And depending on which one they click, it takes them to 3 different landing pages. Remember it said it's sharing these 3 different landing pages with these people. And basically the different landing pages ask them another question. The fantastic, if they click fantastic, it says, awesome, I'm so glad you're happy. Care to give us a testimonial? And it lets them fill out a long test. What's so great about your experience? And a little checkbox that says, hey, can we use this in our marketing? And submit, right? Automatic testimonial generation tool. If they say, I'm happy, they say, cool, what could we have done better to make you thrilled, right? And then not so good, it's like, uh-oh, something went wrong. This is not how we wanted it to be. What went wrong? And this one now sends a task directly to you to fix the problem, right? When they fill this thing out, it sends a task to you, or you can change it obviously to your team member or whatever you want, but like get notified that there's a problem here that you want to fix. One click. They don't even have to fill out those second forms because we track these clicks. And when we do, you can see what happens here. It says they get added to the appropriate trigger here. So one of these is fantastic. One of these is happy. One of these is not so happy. And you can see if they submit the form, that's really cool. If not, you can do something different here. Either way, we want to make sure that we thank them for their contribution and send a notify. And this one you can see notify with email. Notify someone on your team that you just got a not so good. You need to deal with that, right?
Yep.
So pretty powerful stuff. Okay, so let's see. What do we got here? Basically. I think what we've done, I know we're getting long here, but I think what we've done here is we've made the most powerful campaign builder that's out there today, because it does solve the problems that we noticed that basically all of the competition has. It's not so simple that you can't actually get a big picture view of your business. It's not so complicated that you can't understand it, and it comes with all the content that you need when you launch a new campaign out of the marketplace. It's literally one click simple. So I think that we've really achieved that goal. Hopefully the market will agree when we launch this thing tomorrow. Now, the next thing that's amazing about this is what we call performance mode. And we definitely have taken campaign reporting to the next level. Let me show you what I mean by that. What we've got here, let me see. Simple sales performance reporting. And I'm probably in the wrong account to show this to you, but what can I do to make this? Oh, you know what I can do? Let me just show you that this is real. But like I said, I've got, what was that one that I have here that's live? Is this guy? No. I can sort here by which ones are live versus unpublished. This one's published. So here's what I want to show you. This is because this campaign is been published. When I open it, it takes me right into performance mode.
Nice.
Right? And what's really amazing here is that we're showing you what's. Well, we're going to show you a whole bunch of stuff, right? Most campaign builders, the best of them out there, show you what we call this contact flow report, which basically shows you where contacts have been and where they are now, right? One contact was here, they got an email, and then something happened. Oop, they're not sitting here, something happened. Oh, they got moved over here. They clicked this link, and then they submitted the form, and they got notified, and blah, 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 right? So down you go. You can kind of see what happened. And you can see the conversion rate of the people that were added to this map. 100% of them were fantastic. That's great. As we got more data through here, you're going to start to see that 70% of people are fantastic, 25% are happy, and 5% are not so happy. And you can start to look at what can we do to improve those numbers. One of the things that's cool here is you can take a look at a date range of people. So when just show me people that were added to this map in the last 30 days. And compare that to people who were added to this map 60 days ago or 90 days ago, and see if my numbers are getting any better, for example, or worse. Very interesting. And that's cool. That's about what you expect a reporting tool like this to do. It's what the best of the campaign builders out there do, and that's kind of the end of it. We wanted to take it to the next level, and so we did. And we created 5 more reports that you can actually run on this map. And so I'm going to just run through kind of like what these reports are, because they're really very interesting and pretty powerful. But I'm going to do it over here in the slides, not because it doesn't work, because it does, but just because I've got these maps that show kind of the data here. So you can kind of see a little bit better what I'm talking about, rather than trying to understand a blank map. So the first one, like I said, contact flow. It answers the question, how do contacts flow through this campaign map, and where are they now? Right? It basically shows you the conversion rate to your various goals. It's the basics. The next one is really interesting, lifetime value. One of the things that's cool about having your data in one place is that we know how much each one of your contacts has spent. And so you can see here the people that got added at this point in your map they had spent $840 total, and $3.50 on average by the time they got added to this map. But then as they moved down, they'd spend more. This is your average spend per, these numbers aren't exactly accurate. Let's just look over here. Like I said, this is just a screenshot made up. But you can see that the average spend of these people as they move down your map is going up. That's good. The total spend of the people that have received this email is $3,500, and the average spend is $5.26. Why is that interesting? Well, it's interesting because if you're advertising, you're spending money to drive people into your business, and you want to know how fast you're getting your money back. Because the sooner you get your money back, the sooner you can reinvest it into new customers. It turns out to be one of the key metrics that anybody who spends any kind of money advertising their business is real concerned about, because basically when you do the math, you find out that the faster you get your money back, the faster you can kind of turn that over into another ad to get another customer, the faster your business is going to grow. If it takes you a year to get that money back, then you end up needing a lot of money to grow your business. And so this is one of the key numbers that that if you're going to be aggressive about scaling your business up, you need to know this number. And it's actually turns out to be really hard to get this number when you got data all over the place.
Right.
So really unique. No comparable system offers anything like this. Very unique report. Next report we've got here is the funnel conversion report. And this is basically a report that we did that kind of is going to replicate what you might have expected to see in one of those kind of like page funnel conversion reports, where it's like shows you, of the people who got to this goal, how many get to the next goal, and of the people who got to that goal, how many get to the next goal. And so it's just going to show you conversion rates on your goals, and it's going to show you how well you're moving people through your funnel. It's pretty simple. It's like what you might see in like a ClickFunnels or an Unbounce or a page conversion tool, but instead of just showing you your conversion rate through pages, you're actually able to see your conversion rate through any goal in your business. You might say, of the people who opted into this ebook, how many of them moved on to get a demo with my sales team? And of the people who got a demo with my sales team, how many moved on to take a free trial or to buy my product? And of the people who buy my product, how many of them go on to refer somebody? These are important numbers, and without having your data in one system, they're just impossible to get. So super powerful bit of reporting there. Goal conversion rate is a I don't know, what are we at, 3rd or 4th report that we've got here. And this is going to basically tell you how likely is it that a contact that gets added to this map achieves a selected goal on the map, right? So these maps can get pretty big, and you can have a lot of goals on the map. You might have a goal that says, buys product A and buys product B and buys product C, or maybe like gets a demo, and you might have goals for like is committed or is thinking about it or is not interested even. That doesn't sound like a positive goal, but it might be something you want to track, right? And what you can do here is you click on a goal, and it'll literally show you of everybody who gets put on this map, how likely are they to eventually achieve this goal.
Yep.
That turns out to be really interesting when I show you what comes with next, which is with tracking. So 12% of my customers, my leads rather, end up buying product A. Super interesting information. What's really cool about this is that you can see down also, notice here at the top, it says 17.2% of the people who were added at this trigger go on to achieve this goal. Now, why is that interesting? It's interesting because, for example, at Ontraport, we have like 20 different ebooks that are sort of like lead magnets, right? People opt in to get all kinds of different ebooks or guides or whatever it might be. And we can put those as separate triggers across the top of our map, and then we can go down and click on a goal. And what it's going to show us is, of the people who opted into our email marketing ebook, 6% of those eventually buy Ontraport. But if they opt into our membership site ebook, 12% of those people go on to buy Ontraport. That is super interesting information because it means we ought to think about moving some of our advertising budget over to our membership site ebook. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's awesome, and it's really hard information to get, again, without a system like that. In fact, it's information that we didn't have at Ontraport until very recently. So very powerful stuff. Goal conversion point is a very interesting report. So a different report, you select a goal, and it basically says, where were the people on my map? This is a very good example. I don't know why we're using this. But where were the people, where were they on my map when they converted to this particular goal? And the reason that's interesting is because a lot of these maps are going to be like email, wait, email, wait, email, wait, email, wait, and then a goal at the bottom that says, did they buy my stuff, right? Because that's what a lot of email sequences are. It's like buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or get a demo, get a demo, get a demo, reminder, 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 reminder. And what you want to know is which one of those pieces, how far along down the funnel are they getting before they convert, right?
Oh, gotcha.
Where in my process were they when they converted to this thing, right? Which email did they just get sent? Or, I might have, for example, at Ontraport, we have, the people coming in via the ebook, and then they're getting follow-up, and it's saying, hey, get a demo. And then there's this whole demo process. If they do that, it's like demo and follow-up with our salespeople and all that stuff, right? And then but after that, it's like, okay, well, they didn't sign, they didn't sign right up. So then we have this long-term nurture process. Now I can go down, click buys Ontraport as the goal, and I can see where in our overall process are they coming from? Are they coming from mostly from our demo process? Are they coming from this ebook or that one? Are they coming from this email or that one? Are they coming through our long-term lead nurture, right? You can start to really get clear about what parts of your campaign are driving each individual goal conversion. Super interesting information.
Yeah, because on the one hand, you have the goal conversion rate is like, is this Facebook ad campaign converting? But the goal conversion point, you may have 10 steps in that campaign.
That's right.
That shows, email 7 is when most people buy.
That's right, exactly.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. Now, one thing I forgot to mention while we were looking at the app, I'm just going to throw this out there now, is that every one of these reports, wherever it shows a number of contacts, that stuff is clickable. And you can literally click that number and go see those contacts.
Right.
And get a list of them, which is really cool because you can see like, okay, who are the people who were a no to this condition or who bought this product. You can click on it, and then you can run group actions, send those people an email, or send them an SMS message, or launch a new campaign just to those people, or find out what the problem was, or whatever it is. It makes it real easy to get to a specific group of people.
Right.
All right. I don't know if we're getting to the last one here. We're getting close, though. This one basically shows you time. How long does it take to, on average, for contacts to move down your process and achieve a selected goal? So you pick a goal, and it says, well, I selected this product as purchase goal, and it shows me, on average, it takes 1 day and 2 hours for them between getting added to this map and purchasing this product.
Man.
And then after here, once they get down to this space, it only takes them, once they hit this element, it only takes them 4 hours on average to purchase this product. And again, this goes back to the speed at which you're moving people through your conversion process. It becomes real important to focus on that once you're advertising and you want to get your dollars back. So it begins to show you, where you're where people are moving quickly and where people are kind of slow in the process, kind of unveiling opportunities for improvement in that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
So that's performance mode. That's most of performance mode. Impressive? No?
Yeah, I like, that's all cool. Like Campaign Builder's cool. Those reports, I've suffered through this, and I see my clients over the years as well. It's, the reporting, the analytics, it's like, I'm the entrepreneur. I'm not this nuts and bolts bean counter, because it's usually so hard. right? I've got to go into my Google AdWords or my analytics, and next thing I know, I've got 2 or 3 different tools. I'm trying to figure out where's everybody going. Or other platforms that they only have a 30-day reporting, right? And it's like, I've run this campaign for 6 months. Why can I only see 30 days? And then you got to pay for something else. So, to have all this in one place, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome. We're very excited about it internally. I'll tell you what, our marketing team's chomping at the bit. They're already using it. It's pretty cool. So I want to keep moving here because I know we're getting long in the tooth, but I want to show you one last thing, or maybe there's a couple, but tracking is, as it says here, now officially mind-blowing. So check this out. If you're using Google Analytics tracking like every entrepreneur should be doing, you're adding UTM variables to the end of your links when you're posting on social media, when you're boosting a post, when you're running an AdWords ad, whatever you're doing, you're adding your UTM variables to the end of your URLs. If you're not doing this, if you don't know what I'm talking about, like as soon as we're done talking here, you should stop and go research what the hell I'm talking about, because you really should be doing this. Even if you don't look at the information right now, even if you don't ever become an Ontraport customer, you want to be beginning to track what's working and what's not working in your business. So that means getting Google Analytics working, just installing it on your website, and then using UTM variables, campaign, media, source, stuff like that on your on all your marketing materials, on all your Facebook posts that you're using to drive people back to your website. It's important to do. So obviously, if you're spending any money driving ads and you're not doing this, you're definitely crazy. You need to be doing this. So so do that. And when you do, Ontraport automatically will also capture those same UTM variables that you use for Google Analytics and begin to show you some incredibly robust reporting against your maps. This is an absolute industry first. What's going to happen here is that we're going to track where your people are coming from. Are they coming from Facebook? Are they coming from Google? Are they coming from YouTube? Where are they, what source are they coming from? What ad are they coming from, right? Not just are they coming from Facebook, but what ad on Facebook are they coming from, right? Not just are they coming from social media, but which posts are they coming from? And what it's going to be able to do is show you, of the people who came from that source, how many of them are getting added to this map. And then it gets even crazier. You can click on a goal, and this thing's going to filter, and it's going to show you, of the people who, for example, bought my product, which lead sources did they come from, right? So you might be doing a bunch of stuff on Google and AdWords and YouTube and Instagram, but only one of those or 2 of those might be driving any traffic. For sure, if you're doing like we do, we have 100 different ads running at any one time. 7 of those are working, a whole bunch aren't. What I can see now for the first time is I can just click on a goal and select, I can go up here where it says lead sources, I can select